Hey everybody, the Millennium Falcon event is almost here and I am super excited about it. I know a ton of you are too. I've been getting a ton of questions about what I plan to do with this ship, how I plan to run it, what I think is going to counter it for those of you who can't get it. And I wanted to create this video and kind of talk about all of that and basically what I think about the future of ships and how the Millennium Falcon is going to change the game, because it is absolutely going to change the game. This ship is incredible. So this is going to be a little bit different style video than I'm used to. Um, I'm going to have some of the game in the background, but I'm not going to have any really game footage here. I have not played the Millennium Falcon yet. The event is not out. I do not have access to the test server or anything. So this is all my speculation. If anybody's watching this video a few days from now, I I don't know what's going to happen. This is just me speculating and saying what I think is going to happen, what I'm doing to prepare for it. So just keep that in mind if you're not watching this video as it comes out. But anyways, I I'm super excited about the Millennium Falcon because it's going to make matches a lot of fun. It's going to be a really entertaining ship. Matches are going to be very quick, which is going to be a nice change from the Mace battles that took forever. But it once the ship has been out and everybody's starting to get everything maxed, I do think it's going to be frustrating because there's a lot of randomness to this ship, and that's going to make for some infuriating matches when RNG does not go your way. But anyway, let's start out with first. I want to look at what ships I plan to pair with the Millennium Falcon, and they're really going to be there's probably all of the Rebel ships are going to be very good, but there's going to be a few that are going to be exceptional in my opinion. The key one I think is going to be Biston's U-wing here, and I will explain why. The essentially two reasons. First off, I've got to find his abilities here. I'm not used to playing with him. As you can see, I don't actually have him geared up. He cost a lot to gear up, so I've started that process, but I'm not used to which abilities are which here. Biston's U-wing gets 25% speed. When you factor that in, a maxed Biston U-wing is 191 speed, or 191.3, I think, something like that. That is extremely fast. It's not the fastest in the game, but it's definitely the fastest rebel in the game. So that's going to allow you to take an early turn. And then what you can do with that early turn is inflict a guaranteed target lock on a chosen enemy. It cannot be evaded or resisted, which is huge if you're facing Houndstooth, who has a bunch of tenacity before he taunts. I'm not sure if it's going to be best to target Houndstooth. I think it will be, because you can possibly get an assist on this. When any rebel uses an ability, there's going to be a 50% chance for Han to be called to assist. You're going to play with fire based on who you choose to take out first. If you're even facing a Houndstooth at all, we'll get to the tank later. I'm not sure Houndstooth is going to be the best pairing for the Millennium Falcon. But anyways, you're going to get that early target lock, and what happens when you get that target lock is you also give a random ally. So there's a 50% chance who it goes to at the beginning, 30% turn meter, and advantage, and that's going to allow you to take the next turn. If you're getting an assist from Solo or giving him turn meter so that he can go again, whenever he uses his basic, if it's a critical hit, it's going to inflict target lock, which is then going to give somebody else 30% turn meter. It's going to dispel Houndstooth, or dispel anybody, once some buffs get up there. So both advantage and the turn meter are going to be huge. And then, well, and if you look at his basic, he's also going to do a decent amount of damage on it too. Once he's stealth, he becomes stealth without that ability. He gets plus 20% critical damage. You get plus critical damage from while you're assisting from Akbar. You're going to be running this rebel group with an Akbar ship. That's for certain. The Millennium Falcon isn't really, at least I don't think it's going to be a plug-and-play character like Houndstooth. Houndstooth you can run with absolutely any team that you want. Millennium Falcon is going to be good in other lineups, but the more rebels you have, the better the Millennium Falcon gets. So having all these rebels surrounding him is definitely going to make him very good. But you, Biston's going to do a decent amount of damage on his basic. He's going to stay stealth, so you can't target him. Um, he really only has that one active ability. You get turn meter on a finishing blow. I don't think that's going to be huge. His reinforcement is okay. Call a random ally to assist. We're loving assist in this rebel lineup, so that's a good thing. But his reinforcement ability isn't as good as some of the other rebels we're going to get to here in just a second. His speed and that target lock I think makes him a clear choice to be an opener in the lineup. Whoever has the fastest Biston is going to have a huge advantage in the match. So then, okay, we've got a chance to give 35% turn meter after we use that opening target lock. Who do we want to give it to? There are a bunch of good options. My choice early on is going to be Biggs, for a couple reasons. First off, he's a tank. We've talked about how we're going to get a lot of target lock. Anytime we call Millennium Falcon to assist, we're going to have a good chance to get target lock if he has a critical hit, which he's going to have a high critical chance to begin with, and then Biston's going to be spreading advantage around a lot. Akbar ship can spread advantage around a lot, so you're going to have a lot of critical hits, which means a lot of target lock, which means Biggs gets to taunt a bunch and he gets to recover protection. So that recovering that protection plus getting 60% protection up from assist due to Akbar is going to make Biggs pretty hard to take out. But that's a big reason why I like him in my opener. It's pretty traditional to have a tank. But he also has, if we go to his special ability here, he does pretty good damage on one of these attacks, and then if there's target lock, which we know there will be because Biston is guaranteed to have a target lock, you call a random ally to assist. So you can have a huge opening turn by Biston giving target lock, possibly calling the Millennium Falcon to assist. There's a 50% chance he's going to give turn meter to Biggs here. Actually, greater than 50% chance because you could possibly get Millennium Falcon calling an assist and getting another target lock. So that's another chance to give Biggs some turn meter. But anyways, once he goes, he can use this as a high damage attack. Calls an ally to assist. There's a 50% chance to call Millennium Falcon again because it's a rebel using an ability. So there's two chances to call the Millennium Falcon to assist. You're getting a minimum of 2 attacks here. You're getting a maximum of 5 attacks because every time Millennium Falcon attacks using his basic, he's going to call another rebel. And what you could possibly have here, and this is where you get into all this RNG. So you could have Biggs call Millennium Falcon twice, and then Millennium Falcon calls Biggs twice. All 4 of those could be critical hits, and you've inflicted target lock 4 more times, and you've spread more advantage. You've spread more turn meter, and you can get this turn meter ball rolling, and you can really wipe out the other team before they even take a turn. Because then after this, you're going to have Akbar. Let's go find the home one here. His ability, I've actually got Akbar max because I used to run him with Geos a long time ago. That was a pretty fun team. But they call 2 random allies to assist. If one of those is Millennium Falcon, he's going to call an assist. A lot of chances for Biggs to assist and score a critical hit. I didn't mention that for those of you who might be lost. On Biggs basic, he inflicts target lock on a critical hit. Millennium Falcon's going to give a plus 20% chance for a critical hit. Biggs is going to have plus 5% critical chance for each rebel ally. So if you're starting with 3 rebels, that's another plus 15%. I don't think the capital ship counts. I'm not 100% positive on that, so it might be another plus 20%, but it's at least plus 15, so that's plus 35% critical chance. And again, Biston's spreading advantage, so you've also got some turns where it's a guaranteed critical hit. Spreading all this target lock is going to be huge. So that I think that's going to be my starting three, and in some matches that might be all you need. You're getting all that turn meter, doing all that damage. Millennium Falcon hits really hard on his basic. He hits slightly harder than Vader's TIE Advanced for comparison. Um, and then whenever he's caught out of turn, he's got all that extra critical damage that he does as well. After that, there's a bunch of ships here for once we get to the reinforcement that they are all going to be really good. So we've got Ghost here. Look at the Ghost reinforcement. Now normally we like the Phantom reinforcement more than the Ghost. You call Phantom in first, and that reduces the cooldown of the next reinforcement, so you can call somebody in very quickly. But with Ghost here, you're going to get inflict critical chance down on all enemies for 2 turns, and target lock anybody who's suffered from that critical down. And that can't be evaded or resisted. Remember, Biston's giving all this turn meter on target locks, so you could get 3, possibly 4 target locks at this point, depending on how many ships are out there for your opponent. 4 target locks, that's a ton of turn meter. That's more advantage spread. That's really revving up your entire lineup. And you're basically getting to the point where you get to start the cycle all over again. And then Ghost has some really awesome abilities too. So this is the big ability here. You call a target ally and 2 rebel allies to assist. So if this is your first reinforcement and you've got a full rebel team, you are I'm not sure how the calling assist actually works, to be honest. I interpreted that as you would call all 3 ships. I don't know if it says and 2 rebel allies. So if you call a target rebel ally, can you then call them twice? I'm not sure how that works. I'm not used to seeing a full rebel lineup. But either way, you're going to get 3 assists here. One of those is going to be the one named Falcon, who will call another assist. Again, we're using an ability, so there's another chance to call them one named Falcon, who, if he's called, will call another rebel. So you can once again have a ton of attacks here doing a ton of damage. So the Ghost is a great option to call out of reinforcements. I'm actually also tempted to start the Ghost and not even use a tank and just have so much damage that you don't even need to start with a tank if you can go first and hit hard. The bad thing about Ghost, even though he will call more assist than Biggs, is he does good damage on his basic, but he can't inflict target lock. So I really like how Biggs can inflict target lock on his basic and help spread more target lock. So we will see how all of this goes. Some of the other abilities here, we've got another hard hitting attack. As you can see, I've got a lot of work to do on my rebels here. Again, inflicting defense down, I'm not sure how much help that is going to be, although you can almost gain full turn meter by doing that, so it can be a free attack at times. Minus 25% potency. That could be very helpful for a couple of reasons. One of them, if you're facing a similar rebel team, we've talked about inflicting all of that target lock. It can be, with the exception of Bistons, it can be resisted. So if you don't have enough potency, that's one way to kind of shut down the opponent, or not necessarily shut down, but at least slow the opponent, is reduce their potency, so some of their target lock gets resisted. And then there's a lot of synergy with the Phantom. So anyways, the ship that frequently pairs with the Ghost is the Phantom, and it is a very common ship to use as a first reinforcement because it reduces the cooldown of the call reinforcement ability on the allied ship. So it allows you to call two reinforcements back to back. In a lot of battles, that is extremely good. One of the most powerful reinforcement abilities out there. I am I'm a little nervous about it, and about investing all of this gear into this character to use their ship. Although I'm better off with this one than I am most. I don't think the battles are going to last that long. So when you see some of these mace battles, these are great because they allow you to get five ships out there. Speeds everything up. Getting a lot of rebel ships out there is certainly going to be nice. But if we're doing all this damage and we don't even get to a second reinforcement, a third reinforcement, then speeding that up isn't really going to help all that much. The abilities, you've got two chances. You've got another target lock with a chance to inflict a second target lock. Normally, I'm not the biggest fan of that ability. If you've got Biston out there, though, that gives a lot of turn meter, gives advantage, so that becomes a great ability. Um, Critical chance up, an attack that gives critical chance up. When critical hits are so important for Biggs or for the Millennium Falcon to inflict target lock, that becomes a very good ability. Um, and then you've got these passives that pair with the Ghost that are very good. So it's certainly a good ship. Um, I don't like it quite as well as the others. I think some of the other ships pair a little bit better. One of those other ships, kind of the last huge pairing here, is Cassian's U-wing. This one, I think this is going to be my first reinforcement ability. Again, I'm not necessarily sold on all of these, but I really like it. It's got a very good reinforcement, which is to dispel all buffs, inflict offense and defense down on the target enemy. But for depending on who you're facing, Mace teams have all those buffs from Mace that speed up the capital ship, make all the Galactic Republic ships stronger. So wiping that out is going to be huge. Wiping out all the protection up if we're facing another Akbar ship, the protection up, the advantage, all of that's being spread, wiping that out can be very good. And then this ability right here is going to be a very hard hitter. Deals special damage. He does pretty good damage. And call a target ally to assist. So that's good. It's not random. You get to call a target ally. So you can specifically call the Millennium Falcon. And both attackers have an additional 30% critical damage. If it's a rebel, it's guaranteed to be a critical hit. So you can call the Millennium Falcon, be guaranteed to get that critical hit, guaranteed to get extra damage. You're going to get a lot of critical damage um, uh, when you call an assist under Akbar's lead. I'm forgetting the exact amount off the top of my head, so let's go find that out. Um, Double for rebels plus 50% critical damage. So rebels are going to be plus 100% critical damage. Um, when Castian calls that assist, it's going to be 130% critical damage with a guaranteed critical hit. So that Falcon is going to hit hard. And this ability hits pretty hard as well. So that is going to be big. And then you've got two different dispels that can be useful. Dispel an enemy and give again inflict target lock, which is always huge. And then you can dispel an ally, I believe. Yep, dispel on ally. Give them stealth. Grant both turn meter, so that's a great one. And then this passive here, so we're spreading all this target lock. While Cassian's U-Wing is active, all allies have a plus 20% critical avoidance and plus 25% defense when attacked by a target locked enemy. Double that for rebels. So plus 50% critical avoidance and plus 50% defense. That's going to, again, if we're thinking mirror matches here, where you've got teams spreading, or trying to spread a lot of target lock. So you've got Millennium Falcon, um, needing that critical hit to inflict target lock. Biggs needing that critical hit to inflict target lock. If they are target locked themselves and you have Cassian, it's going to make it much harder. Now, they do get all those critical chance bonuses, so they can still get that critical hit. But that's going to be really big in stopping those target locks on the other side. And then, like, for example, if we've got Biggs here, he's already going to be hard to kill with getting all of that protection up, as well as recovering the protection. And then if he's got plus 50% defense on top of that, that's going to make him that much harder to take out. So it's going to make him an extremely good tank. So Cassian's U-Wing, I think, is going to be... he's probably good enough to put in the starting lineup. All of these ships that I mentioned are going to be good enough to start. They're all going to be extremely good. It's so hard to not put Cassian as a starter, but he's kind of slow. And I mean, if you run him with Biston, you could get that extra turn meter to help him go faster. That's certainly a possibility. Starting him, I don't think I would start him in place of Biston, but maybe running Biston, Cassian, and Millennium Falcon might be a nice combination. I'm not. There's so many things I want to test and find out. I can't wait to find out what the best lineup is, or if it's even an all rebel lineup. Using Houndstooth could certainly work out very well. Obviously, Houndstooth fits in anywhere. Houndstooth overall is a better tank than Biggs, but you don't get that extra rebel synergy. You don't get the extra target lock. You don't get the assist. So I think there's enough synergy there for Biggs that Biggs is going to be pushed over the top over Houndstooth in Arena. And then in Grand Arena or Territory Wars, you're definitely going to want to run Biggs as an all-rebel lineup so that you can put your Houndstooth in an additional team. So when you're talking about making the best combination of two teams, definitely run Biggs with these rebels, and it'll give you someplace else to run Houndstooth. But when we talk about Fleet Arena, I could see Houndstooth still being the better tank. We get a lot of assist, but we get that protection up with each attack. Houndstooth kind of hurt the Geonosians in their multi attack because he kept getting protection up from each of those attacks. I think these rebels are going to hit hard enough, and the Millennium Falcon is going to dispel that protection up so that it's going to neutralize Houndstooth quite a bit. Neutralizing Houndstooth combined with the bonus for Biggs, I think makes Biggs the better mark. Now, there's a third tank that I think could be very interesting here, and this will kind of transition us into some of the counters. If we go to the Sith, probably no coincidence that this ship just went to a node. And we're coming up on February, which is Sith month. We might get another Sith ship, maybe a Sith capital ship. I don't know. This B-2 bomber here, if you look at its unique, all right, whenever a Sith ally takes damage or evades, there's an 80% chance to place concussion mines. These concussion mines doesn't tell us there. If we go over here, it's going to say that they daze. They deal damage equal to 10% of the target's max health and daze after it explodes. Daze is what's going to shut down these rebel fleets. We've talked about all the assists that they do. If you get dazed, you can't get that bonus turn meter, and you cannot assist. And that, if you can get basically mass daze, that could be so huge. If it comes in as a reinforcement, he'll inflict these concussion mines on everybody. I believe 2 of them. Yeah, place 2 concussion mines on all enemies. If you start him, he has an ability that will place deal physical damage to all enemies and place concussion mines on them. They can be resisted, but if they can't be dispelled, I believe. Yep, can't be dispelled. So the Millennium Falcon could not use his dispel ability to wipe off those mines. Now he could wipe off days once it's on there, um, but it's going to get placed on every time, or there's a good chance it can be placed on any time they attack a Sith. So in these mirror matches, I wonder how effective it would be to even start with this bomber, to help daze the other team, especially if they are faster. I don't know, and that daze doesn't apply until the bombs go off, so you've got a little bit of a delay there. I don't know how much damage um, this this extinction class bomber can really absorb. I don't, it might be too late by that point, but you've got also got some synergy with TIE Advance, another Sith ship. So there's kind of this interesting Sith Rebel synergy that could be going on. And this might be getting out of the box a little too much, but TIE Advance reapplies target lock every time it expires. So he makes a great partner with Biston because you get target lock on everybody, and then every time it expires, it gets put back on, and you get more turn meter, more advantage. That whole cycle that we've already beat to death. So it's kind of interesting that there are a couple areas of synergy there. And then if we take a look at Darth Maul's ship here, this could be interesting synergy with the Falcon. Um, oh, wrong ability. So gain protection up and retribution. Well, and then you stealth everybody else. Think about what happens if you put retribution on the Falcon, and he counters with his basic, and then every time he counters, he calls a rebel ally to assist. Um, so there's some of these Sith ships that actually have some interesting synergy. So whether we're working in a combination there, or we've got a full Sith lineup to counter these rebels down the road, we've got a Sith fighter who deals damage under protection, so he'll ignore that protection up. That there's more synergy against, or more another counter against the rebels. I think these Sith are going to be important down the road, and like I said, next month is February has historically been Sith month, so I would not be shocked if we get something else to make these Sith even better, since they are a natural counter. I don't think it's a coincidence that the counter these ships that have a counter are basically becoming free to play right as the Falcon's being released. So we'll probably get maybe a month or two of the Falcon dominating arena, and then I have this feeling the Sith are going to rise and be the counter to that Falcon. Maybe not necessarily be better, where they take over arena, but where they just provide that counter, um, that's going to be very useful for those who couldn't get the Falcon. So those are kind of my early thoughts on teams I'm going to run, how I think things are going to go. I think I talked about everything I wanted. Oh, I guess the one thing I didn't hit on too much that I want to reiterate. I think everybody's going to love these ships when they come out. I think everybody's going to hate them after a little bit of time, because picture these mirror matches with the lineup that I described, of both teams running Biggs, Biston, and the Millennium Falcon. So you've got RNG on which Biston goes first. He calls, or he has target lock, and then 50% chance if he calls the Falcon to assist. And then after that, you've got another roll of the dice to see whether the opponent's Biston goes, or the the first team's Biston, or the ally that got turn meter goes. They're going to be tied at 100%. And then if that ends up being Biggs and he calls an assist, and somebody else has 100% turn meter, you're going to have another turn meter tie break. Not to mention 50% chance every time these rebels attack. So you've got all this RNG where each match is going to go different, and you can have these starts are going to be absolutely insane if they go right, where you get Biston getting target lock, calling the Falcon, and then Biggs calling the Falcon twice, and then getting two more assists on that. You get a perfect start like that, and you can maybe wipe out two of your opponent's ships before they even take a turn, and then you rerun the match and it goes the exact other way. Um, and the other person wipes out two ships before they even take a turn, and you've got all this randomness. So I hope there's going to be enough variation that you can kind of run different teams so that you don't have exact mirror matches. Any mirror match tends to make things random because there's all this luck into which ship goes first. But in this case, it's going to be worse than ever because of all the target lock generating random turn meter, generating random assist. These matches are going to go very fast. They're going to be exciting, but I think they might get to the point where they are extremely frustrating. So we will see how everything goes, see how the counters work out, and how easy it is to run counter teams against this. The early counter, I believe, I mentioned Sith being a counter. I don't. Most people aren't going to have those right off the bat. The early counter is going to be basically the same, kind of the same counter teams everybody's been using already, where you use this TIE silencer here. He's one of the fastest ships in the game, and he can stun right off the bat. So you use the TIE silencer to stun Biston and block that early turn meter. Use some other fast ships like your first order TIE pilot, your just your regular TIE fighter pilot, who can get evasion up. So you can avoid some attacks. Maybe get your own ship ahead of Akbar. Akbar is a very fast ship, but if you get some dodge, you can get him out there first. Um, there's going to be there are faster ships that can that's going to be the only way to counter it really is to go faster and control the match first. I say that's going to be the only counter. That's the only counter that I envision other than Sith. And a lot of people do have those ships, so that might be good. I don't think the Millennium Falcon is going to be unbeatable because they won't be the fastest ships. But the Millennium Falcon is going to be very good. It's the new Houndstooth, where if you don't have it, you are going to fall so much further than if you do have it. So again, I'm excited to start with, at least to get to put all these teams together and to play with it. When you theory craft as much as I do, that's past 2 days in the back of my mind. That's about all I've been thinking about is running these simulations and what teams I think are going to do what and putting everything together. And so far, I think my pick for the best team is going to be Biggs, Biston, and Millennium Falcon to open up the match. We'll see if that prediction ends up being true or not, but that's what I'm going with off the bat. Can't wait to try it out. So we'll see. You guys can come back and tell me how wrong I was probably once we find some better options and get to play around with it. As much as you put these things together in your mind, you go out and test it, and it seems like they always come out a little bit different. Things pop up that you didn't know were there. I'm sure we won't have any bugs in the Millennium Falcon that throws anything off. That never happens. So we'll see how things go, and I'll have to get up some more videos of actual gameplay so we can see how things work here. So thanks again for listening. I know this has been really long, been more of a podcast than a video really, since I don't have any gameplay to show. But it's been fun. Lots more to come. I appreciate everybody if you've stayed through a 35-minute video. Holy cow! I'll throw my Discord information up here. I'm finally on Twitter. I'll put my Twitter information up. If you guys want to contact me, I love hearing from everybody. Love hearing discussions. If you think you've got something different you wanna discuss, I'm always happy to discuss options and see what other people think and debate. And hopefully soon we'll all have this and we can actually try it on the match. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. Once again, have a good night. I'll see you in the game. Find the Millennium Falcon.